Hello, I'm starting out this video with something I'm recording at the end because I was switching microphones and realized that the previous one I was using didn't record anything at all. So yay, and I'm now going to be narrating this entire video in post. So oops, but at least I will still get to use the footage, which is a lot more difficult to replace. Hello, and welcome to the first mail video in the office. I have been looking forward to doing this one now that I have a bigger area with more lights. I'm gonna film this one in the same way though, rather than get behind the table and all that stuff, just because I want to keep this one simpler while I'm working on more stuff in the background. But that's all that I really want to do today, is open the mail. So let's go ahead and get started. The first package comes from David in Shoreline, Washington, but I also need to open one from Billy in Kennersville, North Carolina, because I made a little bit of a blunder here. In an earlier office vlog, I picked up a copy of Microsoft Encarta 1994, but it was missing the disc. Both David and Billy reached out about sending me a disc to complete it, but I didn't see them until 2 weeks apart, and at that point I was still very busily moving things around, and it completely slipped my mind that I'd already accepted one of them. So my apologies on that. I accidentally accepted two of the same thing, but they are a little different, and I'm not sure what the differences are. So I may have something to check out here at some point, because it's a little interesting that they are different. It seems like potentially David's might be a slightly later version, as Microsoft branded this into their Microsoft Home product line, and I'm not sure what differences there might be on the disc. But thank you both to David and Billy, and Billy also has a YouTube channel called the Nostalgia Mail and sent me this cool postcard from it. Thank you. The next package comes from Matthew in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Now, this is a really cool little thing here, but to really show it off, I need to go grab something. This is a Toshiba Libretto 50 CT. A few people have done videos about one of these. I haven't yet, and I'm not sure how I want to approach it. But this is a port expander that plugs into an expansion port on this thing and gives it VGA, serial, and parallel ports, which are just really handy to have on a computer like this. And this thing basically completes the CT50, so this is really handy and going to be really nice going forward. Actually, I kind of wish I had this for the hard copy supporter stuff, because I tried to use modern Windows for that this month and it apparently isn't suitable for that. But I may give this a shot at some point, because I can very easily transfer things onto it with the compact flash adapter I have. So thank you again, Matthew. This is going to be really fun to check out. The next package comes from Scott McCoy and the Paul Allen in Youngstown, Ohio. Now, based on this, what would you guess is also in this box? Because before I was offered this by Paul, I had no idea that this was possible. This is a Sony Handycam. This is actually a fairly nice model from the late 90s, and this is really interesting because this Handycam has an option to plug a floppy drive into it through a PCM-CIA slot. I had never seen something like this, and that just kind of blew my mind. It's gotta be for exporting stills or something, but still, it's really cool. Now, this Handycam is actually also kind of interesting and something I've been looking for a while. Not this one in particular, but one like it, because I've been wanting to try out doing some video production using Adobe Premiere version 6 from this era, and this seems like an ideal camera to use with it. So this is going to be handy for a couple of projects. Thank you again, Paul, for sending this. I'm really looking forward to trying it out at some point, and just looking around at it, man, this thing is really feature-packed. I'm definitely going to have some learning to do with it, and it is going to be pretty cool. The next package comes from Samuel in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Now, I think it may have been in my Atari ST video that I last mentioned this, but I had amassed a collection of every 8-bit Atari computer, or at least a representation of each model line, except for the XL models. And Samuel reached out and offered to send me this Atari 600 XL, which is in the box and looks pretty complete. And I am very excited about it because I have been trying to get something from this model line for a while now, and it's just never worked out. Now, this one does need to be repaired. Samuel mentioned in the message about it that there were some unfortunate things that happened surrounding this example, so there's going to need to be some work done, but I am still really excited to get it, and it's just cool to finally see one of these in person. Though this isn't the only XL we're going to see today, but more on that later. Thank you again, Samuel, though I am really looking forward to getting this working, and man, it is just so pretty. I really like the cream and brown color scheme. Next is a package from Emily in Sugar Land, Texas. This was a very large package that I'm really appreciative of Emily sending, and this was actually way cooler than I thought it was going to be, because this is a Commodore MPS 1200, and I didn't remember that it was complete in the box. This thing is super cool. Now, I've been looking for a printer like this that can vertically display the paper while it's printing for the hard copy supporters at the end of videos, and this one looked really awesome for that, so I'm very excited to be able to try it out. Now, I was initially thinking that I would actually be able to use the tractor feed to do that, but the Star printer I was looking at a little while ago showed me that I can't really do that. But the MPS 1200 here also has these plastic runners that clip on to the tractor feed portion that allows it to guide even friction feed paper up like that. So it's still going to work out however I use it. This thing is just so cool and really nice. I'm actually kind of astounded by it. I'm really looking forward to trying it out. Now, I don't have a reliable Commodore 64 still. I thought I'd got one of my C64Cs working for LTX, but it still gave me problems while I was there. So Emily also included this Commodore adapter cable that should allow me to plug this into a PC over USB, which is perfect because I always do the hard copy printouts from Linux anyway, so I might actually be able to get this working for that. Unfortunately, I've already shot this month, so I'm gonna have to wait until next month at the earliest to try it out, but it is really cool to be able to do something like that, and I'm extremely appreciative of that adapter. Thank you again, Emily, and I'm really looking forward to trying this thing. The next items are a little different as they came from Wesley, who physically handed them to me right here in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so Wesley actually gave me 3 different things, although one of them has a bunch of things. And the first thing was this, which is a box that contains an Atari 800 XL, and this is really awesome. This will go well with the 600 XL that Samuel sent. This one I believe works, but not only is it an 800, but there is a 1010 floppy drive, a 1010, tape drive, not floppy drive, 2 of those, and a 1050 floppy drive. I do have another one of these as well, so I can outfit both systems with a tape drive and a floppy drive each, so that's going to be really cool. Also is included the power supply and several cartridges, and that is really cool. There's some great games in there, Zaxxon, Qbert, as well as a number of in-progress projects dealing with SIO. Now, I'm not sure what I will be doing with that. I'm personally more interested in using the systems as they were, so I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet, but there is a lot here to work with as far as getting this computer up and running, and I'm really excited about that because that pretty much rounds out the 8-bit Atari collection for me. I now have representatives of each generation of it, which is really awesome. And a couple of different models from each generation now even. So that is super cool. Now, this is what Wesley initially asked me about. And then when we met up in person, he had 2 other things to offer me. So one of them was something I was really not expecting. This is a 386 PC portable. Now, this thing is super cool. I have fired this up. I will show you a picture of it. That is a color VGA screen that is 640 by 480 only, which actually makes it slightly worse than the one that I'm using with the tiny Pentium PC, which would at least struggle to do 800 by 600. This one wants nothing to do with that. But it is color VGA in a portable chassis. Now, this thing is currently a 386, but the motherboard is standard AT, and I could put something else in there if I really needed to or wanted to, and I'm kind of thinking maybe this should be the Workbench GPIB computer because, oh man, that would be cool. So I'm gonna look at what the options are for that, because I mean, it's basically 19 inches wide. I don't want to put it in a rack, but it would look good over there. So I'm thinking that could be pretty sweet. Also, this keyboard is cherry. That's really wild. So it's a color VGA display with a cherry keyboard. This thing is super duper cool. And that's not even the thing that I was most excited about because Wesley had something else that I haven't seen in a long time. Wesley had something that I mentioned I lamented getting rid of myself a while ago. And I had basically written off ever seeing one of these again. And I've tried to get a replacement and I've only had issues. So this really blows my mind. That is a 21-inch ViewSonic VGA CRT. This, I believe, is the exact model and is an A110 that I had that failed on me. It's a long story, but it works and it's awesome. I am so happy to have one of these in my life again. So I finally am back to large format CRT. Oh man, I'm really excited about this one. Thank you so much for giving me this. He mentioned that he was actually the original owner of this display and that it's just been sitting around still for him and that he was happy that it could go to someone who's missing one. And oh man, I was missing one. Thank you so much for giving me this. That is going to be the centerpiece of whichever PC area ends up having the Windows 98 computer, because that, to me, is what Windows 98 is all about. I picked up mine at a thrift store. I saw it across the building and just bam, zoomed in on it and I got it, but it stopped working correctly on me and I foolishly threw it away before I knew how to repair stuff. So this to me is bringing back an old friend. Thank you so much. Well, that is it for mail right now. Thank you to everyone who sent something. There are a lot of really awesome projects here that I'm looking forward to getting to. I know I don't always get to everything very quickly. I try to get to what I can when it makes sense, but I'm hoping that streaming soon here at the office will allow me to start getting to some of these things quicker and in a different kind of format that will make it a little more enjoyable, or at least easier for me to make videos on, rather than something that's I got to figure out how to present and all that stuff, because streaming's much more laid back. So I look forward to looking at some things like the 600 XL here on a stream. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you want to help support the channel, you could get a cool printer t-shirt, but that is it for the moment, and I will see you next time.